Jesus, we thank you for bringing us here safe, Lord. We thank you for all the opportunities that you have given us to serve you with our gifts and our talents, Lord Jesus. Lord, we love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name, prayer and pray. Amen.
Well, no, it's been a good day so far. One more meeting, one more training session. Watch the game tonight. Back at it tomorrow.
I can see your face now. She's probably did not stop talking.
I think it's easy for people on the outside looking in to just see the results of what you do. And I think it's very important that anybody that wants to be an entrepreneur or wants to do something amazing, it's going to be a lot of challenges. But I'm very blessed and very fortunate to do what I do, and I love what I do. If you pray for times like this, you got to be ready for times like this. You got to grind. I love it.
See you posing on the sideline like you helped me out. Like I ain't hear you talk about me, tryna count me out. They don't see potential. So why you acting friendly with me? No. Growing up, I seen them roaches on the wall. I remember them shelters look at me tryna play it off. And my daddy was hustling out here, he tryna find a home so we can lay our heads down.
We got it.
You gonna get the workouts. It's about the in-between. What?
That's the title.
The in-between?
The in-between.
On me.
Let's go.
I came up with that. Because you gotta think about it. You said it, then I said it right after you, so we
You stole my title.
You got to it before me because I was still explaining it to him.
But you couldn't get it out in time.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what it is. The in-between. That's cold, bro.
The in-between series. They gonna think it's some move.
That's cold.
Trusting God in between seasons of life is tough, but that's when your patience is tested even more. Stop allowing your circumstances to diminish your commitment to your purpose, dreams, and passion. To go where you want to go, you can't do what you used to do. What are you willing to give up to see a miracle happen in your life? Today is a new day with new challenges, but same God. This is the in-between.
You got any portables, man?
No, but I freaking had somebody that asked me if I wanted some.
You ain't take them?
I didn't. I ain't had nowhere to put them.
Got a garage?
Nope.
Got no garage?
Mm-mm.
What y'all got?
Nothing. We got a driveway in the back. It used to be a garage, but the person, I don't know, whoever redid the house, he took the garage out. My name is Chauncee Hollingsworth, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
What was like Chauncey like when he was a teenager or?
Oh, well, very energetic, silly a clown, kind of like his uncle. And there was always a busy young man when he was young. Always kept busy, always did things that was fun. He was always outgoing, outspoken about a lot of things. And funny, like he is now.
I grew up in St. Louis. I'm the second oldest of 5 siblings, and growing up in St. Louis, you know, it's tough in St. Louis.
There is growing outrage tonight after an unarmed African-American teenager was shot and killed by police in the St. Louis suburb of Ferguson, Missouri. But there are conflicting reports about what led up to the shooting. NBC's John Yang has the details.
On the streets of Ferguson, Missouri, outrage and anger.
I actually just saw a stat like 2 days ago that St. Louis is top 15 most worst city in the world, So like growing up in St. Louis, it was tough. Like you either hooped, played sports, sold drugs, or or you going to jail, you doing gangbanging and all that type of stuff. So for me growing up, basketball was like that one thing that I immediately fell in love with when I was like 5 years old. I just loved the game. So then as I got older, I would always like play with my cousins, my older cousins growing up. We just play on a little Fisher-Price hoop. They'd be dunking on me and stuff or whatever. And that's kind of how I got started playing basketball.
You want me to make the move earlier? From here. You see what I'm saying? You gotta read. You can't just spawn on the way. Show it. Good.
But then when I turned 11, my parents, we moved from St. Louis to Michigan, to Flint, Michigan. And my parents got divorced when I was 11. So like that was like a big split in my life, you know what I mean? Like I was a daddy's boy, like I love my dad. But then after they got divorced, things kind of changed a lot. And then my life just went a totally different way.
Fourth to you as well. Thank God it stopped raining, right?
Yeah, I didn't know.
I was getting nervous for a second.
Like, it's a cookout. Then you gotta have some cookout music like that. Yeah, bro. You know that you gotta have a barbecue outfit. Check out my fit. Check it out. Okay.
You gotta have a barbecue fit.
We living back in St. Louis. We living in it's 5 of us, or five kids, my mom, and we living in a 1-bedroom house or 2-bedroom house, and and we used to have like mice and rats in our house or whatever. So we used to have to me and my brothers used to have to sleep on one bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's kind of was just normal. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't think nothing of it when you like actually living like that. You know?
The dude that told us that guy that live over here, Paul, he told me, he's like, man, before y'all moved in, he said, man, they'd run through your yard, shoot up the house, boom, 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 shoot it up, and run back through your yard, jump in their car, and be gone. He's like, but ever since they've been kicked out, he said it's been clean over here. So neighborhood been a lot better. So I'm glad we bought. I'm glad we turned into a buyer, not a renter, for sure.
That's good. That's good.
I think that's what more black people need to do, become buyers and not renters forever. My dad, would try to call us and try to talk to us or whatever, and my mom wouldn't let him. And growing up, I never understood it. I thought my dad just didn't care about us or anything, and that wasn't the case. My mom just had so much frustration towards him that it just came out on us. So as I've gotten older and realized things, I understand that my mom only did what she knew, and I started to realize the amount of pressure that she had on her being a single mom, raising 4 boys in St. Louis, and being in an unhappy marriage, and now being divorced, and all these different things. I started to realize that intensity of that situation. So I forgive my mom, and I got total forgiveness for her. And it's been a process trying to work through it, but by the grace of God, he's brought both of us through it.
So now you're pretending, you don't have to do it, but what we're pretending now is you're coming up that flat, tight wrapping it, and you extend it across the paint, okay?
I never had validation, you know what I'm saying? I never was validated for being good at something, or, especially growing up, you always want to make your parents proud, but I didn't talk to my dad for 6-7 years of my life, you know what I'm saying? I reached out to him when I was
18 or about to be 18, and was like, it was like 3 o'clock or not even 3 o'clock, maybe like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was down in the basement at the crib, bro, and I was just crying, bro, like for like hours, and I couldn't stop crying. Like every time I'd be like, all right, I'm good. I just start crying again, and I'm like, why am I even crying? And I just realized like my heart was like desiring something, you know what I'm saying? Like I wanted something, and I couldn't figure out what it was at the time. But that night, I ended up like, after not talking to my dad for like 7 years, bro, I ended up like building up the courage to like get his number from my aunt, one of his sisters, at like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I just called him and like was like, Dad, I want to have a relationship with you, you know what I'm saying? And that was kind of how I rebuilt that relationship, started to rebuild it with my dad. My mom, on the other hand, has always been just awkward, man, because it was like, that was like face-to-face like anger that I had towards her, you know what I'm saying? Like I even had it to the point, like it was like one point in my life where I'm like, when I turn like 18 and I move out, I'm never coming back. Like, and I'm one of those type of people where I'm stubborn. Like, if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. Like, I wanna be a man of my word no matter what. So like, I had that thought, like I'm never gonna introduce my kids to my mom, like my wife, none of that. Like, I don't wanna have nothing to do with her. But then when me and my wife was going through the process of getting married, we had prayed about a lot of different things and how we wanted people to like find Christ, but also we wanted him to rebuild relationships through our union. And the day of our wedding, bro, we were on stage at the church, and the pastor called up all the not all the family, but the mom, dads on both sides to come up and pray with us or whatever. And that was the first time that I like legit like hugged my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like really hugged her. And this was 2 years ago, so I'm 24 at the time, 24. And I hugged her. And when I tell you, I ain't never felt nothing like this before in my life. Like, I hugged her, and I just felt like so much like peace was just being released over me and her relationship. And like God literally just like did something amazing like in that moment. So I'm hugging my mom during this time, and I started crying and telling her that I love her. And I never thought that I would feel that way towards my mom, because I had so much hate towards her. You know, like I literally used to tell myself I hate her. Like I don't want nothing to do with her. So like when God like did that day, that kind of like rebuilt our whole relationship, you know, like, and after that it changed. It's been different ever since.